Welcome to the Engineering and Public Works Roadshow, coming to you from the Great Trails State Conference in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, celebrating the Great Trails State of North Carolina. And we're really putting a focus this week on recreational infrastructure, greenways, trails, public infrastructure that really enhances communities and shows a real benefit and actually unlocks a lot of economic opportunity wherever they're built. And right now, I'm very pleased to be joined by Dean Arp. He is a member of the House Assembly. He is the only engineer out of 170 members of the House Assembly in North Carolina, which is, thank God there's one. You said there were 5, now it's down to 1. Yeah. Dean, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
We're excited to be here.
So you're a structural engineer by trade.
Yeah, right.
How did he end up being a member of the House Assembly?
That's a long story. No, actually, I started on the school board in my county. Education was pivotal in me becoming an engineer. And everybody's got that favorite teacher, you know, that they look at. And for me, education led me to the career I absolutely love in engineering and so forth. And so an opening came up on the school board. Yeah. We were building a lot of schools, and as a structural engineer, I felt like I could lend my expertise along with my love of education. Yeah. And it started there, and from there, 12 years later, I went to the State House, and now I've been there for 12 years, and just really find a love for it.
Yeah, it's that problem-solving mentality, right? See, if you got to solve it, then you got to realize your problem's over here, and you find yourself all of a sudden, you know.
That's exactly right.
So, I mean, what committees are you on in the Assembly?
Absolutely. I'm one of the senior budget writers for the State House, and also chairman of the Energy and Public Utilities Committee.
There we go.
I love that. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, those are two, of course, budget, you got to set the budget for the energy and utilities, critically important from an infrastructure standpoint. We talked to members of Congress back in Washington, a couple who are members of, or engineers, right, about how it helps shape their thinking about these issues. How do you apply that logic, like a lot of the logic, to sometimes nonsensical things that are brought up, right? But also, how do you apply that in the crafting of legislation?
Well, I think it's critically important because just the way engineers approach problem solving in a very methodical way, our whole purpose for existence is the public safety, health, and welfare of the public.
Absolutely.
And so we conceive it, we design it, we repair these infrastructures and everything, and it's such a part of our DNA that I'm quite frankly surprised that more engineers are not drawn in that way and to the legislative process. Being involved in the problem-solving skills are critical, and plus engineers are so highly respected and have such a trust level with the public. The public trusts engineers very high, and therefore I think it's a great platform to do good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you do have that level of public trust, right? Yeah. I mean, engineering is one of those few fields which is dedicated to improving things, right?
Yeah, right.
When you are out in the district talking to constituents, and you're talking about infrastructure, you're talking about investments, how, out of curiosity, just how well is it received when you talk about, state funding or federal funding coming in for infrastructure, compared to other things? I mean, is it generally readily accepted that, we're going to be spending X amount of money for this, and this is why?
Right.
How does that usually translate?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to focus on during my tenure and service is the strategic capital investment, water and sewer, roads, infrastructure, things like that I do every day in my engineering. Yeah. And a key piece of that is everybody understands the problems. They're looking for solutions, and that's where engineers step in a way. In North Carolina, we've been able to craft a whole new funding model for investments in our capital infrastructure. It's called the State Capital and Infrastructure Fund, where we invest year over year. This date, we've been able to appropriate over $12 billion debt-free in the way we invest for our universities, our schools, our stuff. And it resonates with people because they care. They don't mind so much paying the taxes as long as that they understand that it goes purposefully and aligned with where they believe their beliefs are.
I think that a lot of the projects that we've had a couple of interviews so far today already, and a lot of the there's a direct public impact. There's a direct, tangible. Okay, for tax dollars spent, you see a tangible return on investment when it comes to, especially like trail projects, greenway, or road improvements in general. And I have to compliment the state, because I drive through all the time. You guys have the most beautiful medians in the Highway 95. Even driving around here, and I'm looking, and you have like nice wooden fences in the areas off the roads. And I'm like, God, you take the time to actually care about this stuff. It really puts the state in the best light possible. Looking ahead, I mean, where are you right now in the legislative cycle? What are some of the big things that are coming up ahead of us? That you're really focused in on.
Well, we are at the end of the legislative process. North Carolina is a 2-year cycle. We're elected to 2-year terms. We're approaching the end of our 2nd year, going through elections just like the national level in November. And then we'll start off in January for the next session. Everything ends at the end of the session, so even if you're working on something, it doesn't carry over. You have to start it over again and start it over with every new legislature.
That's always fun.
It's so fun.
I know, whenever it ends and it's like,
okay, you got to start over again.
Better look next time. No, it's fantastic, and it's fantastic to talk to an engineer who's also engaged in government, because it shows that anybody out there is an engineer and you're interested. I mean, you have some problems every day. I was talking to one member from, I think it was, I think it was the Louisiana Assembly. And he was about saying the same thing. He was like, I got active after practicing for a while. And he's like, I want to make a call out to engineers to say, get involved with public service. Because the focus is to fix stuff. Right? So it's great to know there's a fixer who's actually engaged in it.
And so much of that is, time commitment. Engineers are deemed, the old joke that says, extroverted engineer because he looks at your shoes while he talks, all this stuff, But so how do you get started in that? And I advise engineers to start locally. Is there a local board or commission that works with your time commitments are available? And that changes throughout life. If you're a young engineer, you may have a family, young family, you may not have as much time commitment, but there are tons of local boards, commissions, that impact. Start with where your desire is. Start with where your heart is. If it's on the health board of the local county, start there. School board is where I started on there, with passion for education. And you don't have to jump in and run for the state senate,
Start
at the
low
top.
and
Start low and work out and feel how you like it. So.
And then you have the other business aspects. I mean, once you get, you start practicing, you're a sole practitioner.
That's right. So we've got a company there, and so it's great.
And you have to deal with all the business and tax implications that come along with it. So as a small business owner, you have that side of the equation too.
Absolutely.
So, no, it's fantastic. I'm glad that you were able to come out to the conference.
This is great.
And take part in it. And spend some time.
Well, what we do is critical, and understanding how it affects as a small business owner, what the state does and how they invest is so critical into the business of engineering. And what we're trying to promote.
That's our language, ACEC. We're all about the business of engineering. It's creating the environment where you guys can thrive. So
I told my son that no matter what you do, I went to school to be an engineer, but I'm also a businessman, and that was an aha for me. And it really occurred to me, no matter what you do, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a nurse, a farmer even, you have to be in the business of engineering. If you're a farmer, you have to be in the business of farming. And so there's a constant business aspect of that.
That's not taught at the university level.
It's not.
Right?
We've got 400 hours of credits that we got to do for ABET.
Yeah, you got to know your
So where's it going to fit in and all of that?
Yeah, it's always funny when I talk to the people who are like, who are on our executive committee. It's kind of, they never really taught you this stuff in school. Like, no, we have to learn it.
I learn it on the fly. Learn it as you go, for sure.
Well, I really do appreciate it, Representative. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And again, this has been Engineering Public Works Roadshow, coming from Winston Salem at the Great Trail State Conference. And we'll see you next time.